When you're dealing with people, you want to approach it with the mindset that both of you can win a certain confrontation or a certain discussion. There shouldn't be someone that loses. There should be two people that have something to gain and they can both win. And if you're able to navigate through life with this collaborator mindset, then positive things will come your way because you're always looking for a way for you to win and for the other person to win as well. And you need to believe that a win-win is not only possible, but also is the preference that you'd like to have. By approaching life with this mindset, you will open yourself up for more win-win relationships, for more win-win opportunities, and increase the likelihood that you'll have future chances of having a win-win as well. In this way, you create value and you become more collaborative, you become more liked by people around you because they know that by interacting with you, you guys would both have a win-win. In that way, both people benefit from that relationship. The opposite of someone who has a win-win mindset or a collaborator mindset is someone who's a cynic or someone who's cynical. They don't believe in win-wins. They think that everything is a zero-sum game. They think that either someone always loses or always wins in an interaction, but that's not the case. A cynic mindset or someone that thinks in a cynical way, they think that you can either win or lose. You either get played or you play people, or you basically cannot trust other people since everyone is looking out for their own self-interest. And that is no way to navigate through life. Ironically, people who behave in this way, they know that they are untrustworthy and they're proud of being untrustworthy. And that's the complete opposite of being a collaborator. And you want to focus on being more of a collaborator where both people can win, both people can get value out of a relationship or an interaction or a negotiation. And that way, it opens you up to even more opportunities for that to continuously keep on happening for you. I'll use game theory to kind of visualize this interaction by using a different version of the prisoner's dilemma. So let's say we take two people. We have John and we have James. And let's say that if they both collaborate, they get $100 each. If one of them collaborates and the other person competes, then the person that wins or the person that competes, they get $200. And the one that wanted to cooperate, they get nothing. And let's say two people, if they both want to compete or they don't want to collaborate or work together, then they each get $1. In a win-win situation, both get $100. In a win-lose situation, the defector gets $200 and the cheated gets nothing. And in a lose-lose, they both get $1. So this might work for the cynic if it's only a one-time kind of interaction. If it's a one-time interaction, then they can win $200 or they might have a chance of winning the $200. But if the game is repeated, then the person who wanted to cooperate, they will be less likely to cooperate and instead they will also defect. So then you'll constantly get situations where it's a lose-lose. And then you can see how after many iterations of this, how the lose-lose kind of situation where both people are trying to work for just their own self-interest ends up really ruining the value that they otherwise could have gotten, and therefore showing us how we have a great opportunity loss if we choose to compete or if we choose to act like a cynic and defect. So the cheater wins big the first game. However, as soon as the game is repeated, the collaborator will most likely adjust his strategy to defect as well, ending the game in a lose-lose for both people. If you play the game using a cynic, you will lose time and time again. The more you run the game, the greater the opportunity loss of playing in this way. In real life, repeated games are our relationships. So they are the relationships we have with our friends, with our siblings, with our parents, with our partners. And if we are constantly trying to go for winning while not really taking their own needs and things into consideration and not looking for win-wins, then we end up ruining and destroying the relationships that really mean the most to us. But instead, if you approach it with a collaborative mindset where you're looking for ways that you can both win and get something positive, then you end up enriching these relationships between the people that you care about. That could even be like in the workplace as well, between you and your colleagues, you and your employees, or you and your manager. Like having a win-win mindset is just a much more positive way to just go through life and to navigate relationships and interactions. If you approach the world with a collaborator's mindset, you will have the opportunity to form relationships in which mutual trust and cooperation exist and also is cherished by both parties. You just need to find these people who want to collaborate with you, or influence them in a way that persuades them to collaborate with you. So the collaborator aims to maximize the collaboration and the chances of a win-win, and the chances that both people act in good faith and for each other's best interest and not just their own. There's different ways to increase the scope of collaboration. One way to really increase the scope of collaboration would be to make the pie much larger, so then everyone's share is greater. So for example, if two people are working together to start a business, and then you can see that, well, here's everything that you can get from starting a business, or here's everything that you can get, then that person's more likely to want to work with you because they can see that, okay, well, maybe they're going to get a bigger chunk of the pie, or they're going to get a decent amount of that pie, or that the things if they work together. The thing is, by using collaborative framing, so by saying things like, I'm looking forward to working with you, or I'm glad that we agree, are good ways to get somebody to want to collaborate with you, because you're showing them that you value their collaboration with you and value that the relationship that you can also approach people in a what's in it for them type of mindset. So you can explain to them, well, if you work here, then you'll end up getting paid up to, let's say, $70 an hour, and that would also mean that you get bonuses for such and such work if your clients end up with these types of things. So you can collaborate with them or encourage them to collaborate with you by basically laying out, here's the benefits, here's the benefits of working here, or here's the benefits of joining together in a team for something. It's also really important to stick with people who add value to your life and ensure that you are able to detect defectors, people who are only working in their own self-interest and not really taking the time to care about you, and only to collaborate with other collaborators. And majority of people in your life, especially the people that are very close to you, are most likely already collaborators, but there's ways in which you can kind of further enrich that relationship and really improve the collaboration between you guys. So for example, if you want to, let's say, train with one of your friends, then by expressing your gratitude or expressing how much fun you've had, then maybe that's more likely that your friend is going to want to train with you, and you guys hold each other accountable for your goals. And it's much better than training by yourself in certain aspects, or much better than trying to do everything by yourself, because you have someone to hold you accountable. You can actually test to see who's a defector and who's a collaborator in your own life by testing giving. You can give something, whether that's your time, whether that's gifts, whether that's something else like money, and you can just take a step back and kind of observe how they react. Are they very grateful? Do they also repay that by doing something nice to you back? Have they done nice things to you back? Or are they all just take? So most people in your life, if they're very close, they're probably going to be collaborators, but it's just good to test, especially new people, just to see, whether they repay you. And doing something good and then having it paid back is a very good way to kind of go back and forth and enrich our relationships with other people. And the collaborative mindset is especially important when it comes to relationships with people that are really close to us, because the best relationships are the ones where both people benefit, that both people can get value. Not just romantic, but even platonic as well. If both people can get value, they're improving themselves, they're basically getting a better life in some way, then that's the type of life that you want to cultivate. And that's the type of relationship that you can cultivate with other people if you have a collaborator's mindset. The strongest relationships are between two collaborators who are constantly building each other up.